This is the reading for Sagittarius in the 3 periods. The sign as such is a sign of fire. It's ruling the 9th house, the house of philosophy, of higher elevated thought, expansion. It covers long distance travel, foreign languages, inspiration, optimism, publication, higher education, spirituality, philosophy, religion, ideals, morals, and ethics. It's the house of I know. One of the unique qualities of Sagittarius is its dual nature, half human with an ability to reason ideals and a quest for knowledge, and half horse with an insatiable wanderlust, a restless nature, and a desire for independence. Sagittarius may wrestle with harmonizing both sides of their personality. However, those with the 9th sign are often able to find a connection that binds their constructing personality traits through travel and exploration. Sagittarius personality often spend time thinking about why and how things work on a grand scale, and are not afraid to share their theories about life with anyone that will listen. They live for the impossible grand ideas, the big brainstorms, and the what-if questions. In Tarot, the card associated with Sagittarius is the card of Temperance. This is about assistance, encouragement, and in this deck is associated with the constellation of Pictor, known as the Eagle of the Heaven, but was initially labeled Equus Pictoris, a word that means ass, small horse, or easel. An easel is an essential but often underappreciated tool of an artist. The pack animal and the easel both perform a similar service. They assist in supporting precious cargo. And if we think what the meaning of the Temperance in Tarot is, then it's about blending and mixing different elements like wet and dry, hot and cold, male and female. It's one of the 5 cardinal virtues. So it's actually a bridge between 2 worlds. And the planet that rules Sagittarius is Jupiter, the planet of conversation, persuasion, and charisma, the good luck planet. And in Tarot, the card associated with Jupiter is the Wheel of Fortune. From this tarot, we have the association with the Pegasus, also a horse, the white-winged horse, one of the best known creatures in Greek mythology, a symbol of wisdom, beauty, and power, has been a part of poetic stories since medieval time. He's the son of Poseidon and Gorgon, Medusa. In the beginning, he was wild and untrained, but over time, Pegasus learned his true potential through the help of the hero and their journeys together. He appears in many of Greek stories, assisting in a variety of epic battles, including the fight against both the Chimera and the Amazons. So he is a symbol of transformation, from humble beginnings, rising up, and accomplishing his true potential. And that's very much what the Wheel of Fortune also is. So these are the general stories about Sagittarius, and I'm going to continue with the 3 parts, the 3 decans and the sub-rulers. This is the reading for the last period of Sagittarius. We have Jupiter as the ruler of Sagittarius, but for this period, Saturn brings structure to the expand Sagittarius. If we look even at the cards of major arcana, we have the Wheel of Fortune for Jupiter, and we have the World for Saturn. We can also think of the planet of gravity, that can also be a mentor that brings the weight of the world in order to temper the dreams and the hopes of happy to go and lucky Sagittarius. There are some limitation and restriction that are slowing his forward motion, and the card associated from the minor arcana is the 10 of Wands in this deck is the Ten of Candles, which is also called the Lord of Oppression. We see here like too many tasks, too many responsibilities, overwork. This is what the Ten of Wands is normally all about. We have a visitor, as we see in the classical tarot, this person here having to carry these 10 heavy loaded wands. It seems like he is really unbalanced. Even his body, we can imagine it's very painful. But the good news is that the destination, if we believe this is where he is supposed to go, it's not far away. So if we look at the card before, we see how he negotiated to buy his wands, maybe in order to build a house. And we can imagine that he really has a lot to do at this point in order to create something, to build something. And if we look at the tarot from the other side, the image, we see here an older person who is working his field, collecting the crops. So we can also imagine that now he has very hard time, but this is his land, and maybe he's going to build a house. The tarot after shows us that he's almost there, so maybe this is the piece of land that he received. Don't give up. Know that you will get a new beginning after that, because number 10, it's also a number of beginnings. So the wheel of fortune will start rolling again, and then I see this older version of him working his own land, collecting his own crops, and that's a good sign, something to look forward to it. Maybe at this point, just to ask yourself what responsibility are weighing heavily on your shoulder, and how can you best use your powers and your energy. And don't forget, you can keep your option open. You are free, and because you decided to take all these tasks, even there are a lot of them, after that you will have time to make new choices and to decide for another way of dealing with responsibilities, because at this point you have a lot of restrictions, and then it's not easy to keep in mind your goal. Even in this happy tarot, so we can look at a happy perspective, you can find happiness even by lightening maybe a load. You can think, okay, I leave some of the task for later and some of the projects for later, so I can have enthusiasm for what is left. And maybe even how this Checoli tarot suggests, look for some help, because here you are all alone and you don't have anybody to help you, and there are lots of things that seems to need your attention. How I see in the tarot of happiness, if you have whatever task you do with a pure intention from your heart, see that follow your heart, and as long as everything you do is with pure intention from the heart, I'm sure that you are getting closer. You are really getting closer to the good result. And then from the Cosmos Tarot, we see this Ten of Fire as an invitation to see the big picture. And this card is associated with a telescope and a rectangle, and it's about a hard work period that just comes to an end at this point. And of course, you have to consider now all the information, the experience, and the resources that you gather in this hard period. The next experiences, wherever you are going to have on your path, you take with you the perspective and the skills. It's all part of a big picture of the discovery of what you really can, what your skills are. And if we look in the Lumina Tarot, the suggestion is to accept also support from others. In all these cards, you are alone, you do the heavy work on your own. And then the suggestion is that this is a kind of completion, a responsibility. But from now on, think of asking also for support in the new goals that you want to achieve. And maybe you feel at one point undervaluated and overused by other, or in your work or in a personal situation. So just put some measure in place, so you can also get some rest after you reach your goals, and or even before, take a time of rest, because we can see in this card that time of rest is very appropriate. From the beautiful creature tarot, the card of 10 of Wands is this butterfly fairy. She had suffering for so long with all sorts of problems, and now finally she gathered the valor to lift the burdens from her back and discard them for good. By walking a very long path, this fairy achieved what she's always wanted to become by doing what she needed to do. She wanted to be a radiant and unique butterfly fairy, and after prolonged, harsh, and troublesome times, she at last attained her goal. She finally pulled through. Now she enjoys a life without burdens and rejoices in her magnificent transformation. So it's a period of hardship, but in the same tone, the Red Sea Tarot talks about the 10 of Torches as the card of I am transformed. I overcome myself, the sufferer. I carry my own ashes to the mountains. I invented a brighter flame for myself. And the soul journey for this card is, we have worked so hard on many levels. The outer and inner processes we have explored and experienced might have drained us. It has taken great resilience and courage to stay with it. At times, quite understandably, we have been tempted to give it all up and walk away. Did you walk away? If we decided to continue, we have not only survived, but are now feeling the changes and transformation within us. Before our new way of being makes itself known, we will need to rest and contemplate our experience so that we don't burn out and become overwhelmed. Let us pause a while on this threshold and acknowledge that our mind, heart, and soul are clear and knowing. Our self knows what needs to be released and changed in our lives. Trust the way ahead. For now, we must take care, for at times like this, our body needs to catch up with our soul. Our heart calls. So I found this very beautiful message. All these efforts that we did on our journey, even for our body, a lot of discomfort. If we look at this card, we can't see the goal anymore. It's like a wall in between us and our goal, all these burdens. But remember, we are free in the end, and with this challenge comes the transformation, and look, she is now what she always wanted to be. And from beneath the moon, the card associated with 10 of Wands, it's the story of Timbu tree. It's a story from Paraguay about a father who had a daughter that he loved very much, and he was a leader of a tribe, and his daughter decided to marry a man from another tribe, but then he didn't hear any news from her for a long time. So he decided to go and pay her a visit, and when he reached the other village, it seems that they were attacked by an enemy, and all the people were missing. And he started looking for his daughter, and he was just laying down on the ground, listening, hoping to hear some sounds, and then he didn't give up in his hopes. Months later, his tribe found him dead, still lying with his ear to the ground listening. But a strange thing happened. From his skull, this beautiful tree grew up. Always reminds of the father's undying love for his daughter. In this way, this tree became a symbol of his love, and it's something that will never die, never disappear. Something beautiful comes from all the action, from all this fire. I hope for all of you who are born in this period, or you have Saturn in Sagittarius, that what you will get from this reading is that whenever you have a hardship period, whenever you have difficulties, too many tasks, that you can't see your goals anymore from all the burdens, to remember that you can ask for help. Know that if you follow your heart calls, and you will always transform. Don't give up. Love is all we need. Thank you for watching.